Here's a good example of a legitimate load testing tool. Loader.io is created by SendGrid, who also provide email delivery services. I actually used Loader.io a little while back in order to do some legitimate performance testing. So I've actually got some real data here I can walk you through as well. But let's start with one of the most critical differences between malicious stress testing tools and a legitimate tool like Loader.io. If I jump up and have a look at the target hosts I have here, I have my haveibeenpwned.com site. This is my domain, it's my site, I own it. I have a verify button over here because what a legitimate service will want you to do is verify that you actually own the site that you're testing. Now, if we drill down into that verify link, we can see here that I can verify over HTTP. So I can place a file on the website and then Loader.io will make sure that that file exists before it allows me to start hammering it with traffic. I could also verify by DNS. And usually this just means creating a text record on the DNS entry. If I can demonstrate that I can control the DNS of the website, then I can run a load test against it. Booters and stressors do not do this because the people running the quote-unquote tests don't own the sites. They're other people's sites and their intention is malicious. The other thing that happens if we jump back to our tests, and I grab one of the ones I've previously run, is that legitimate load test services actually give you useful information about how the target site behaved. Because people using these services need to understand things like how many requests per second could I make? How long did it take the service to respond under what amounts of load? All of that is actually really useful information when performance tuning a web application. That's why when we look at an example like this, we can see things such as the number of requests that were made and the types of responses that came back, or the amount of bandwidth that was used. Or we can go through and watch a simulation of the entire test again. All of this is really useful information for me as a legitimate site owner, but it's kind of worthless information for someone who just wants to inflict damage on the site. All they want to do is hammer it with as much traffic as possible and watch it metaphorically burn. So that was just a very brief look at a legitimate stress testing service. They do exist, they serve a very good purpose, but they differ fundamentally in the way they operate, and they certainly differ in the way they present their services and the way they encourage customers to use them. So that's booters and stressors. We've looked inside a real live DDoS as a service, and we've looked at a legitimate stress testing service. The very final thing I want to look at in this module is just to give you a bit of a sense of other denial of service tools that are out there. Let's go and check out a few now.